Hello, welcome back. Here we go. So roasting hot today, too hot for me to be honest with you. Let's have a look at some of these coins. I'm not a financial advisor, it's not financial advice, but let's have a look all the same. So we'll start with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin fell pretty hard actually, and is still trending beneath both moving averages. I say both moving averages, or pretty much all moving averages, the main ones being the 50 and the 200 EMA. We did have a cross signifying a death cross, but it seems to, even though that did occur and it triggered a bit of a fall, it's been picked up actually, more than I expected. Where did that take us from top to bottom? That was almost a 10% drop. So to be honest with you, that is not too bad, not too shabby at all. So where's it going to come from here? We've got to bounce above these again and signify another, well, you could call it a golden cross. But the trading range that we're at the moment is shrinking more and more, which would suggest to me that unless there's a huge big pushing it way up above here, that this is just a buyback opportunity, and we're still going to come down some to test this range here, the 9,200 area. I'll just come on computer. Right, we'll just drag this little box over here as well. Not that means a great deal for us now. That area is being tested and broken all the time. So it's 9,200 is going to be our significant support. Other than this area here, what we're doing now is we're trading technically sideways, and Bitcoin sideways movements often are now a range of around $1,000 to maybe $1,500 worth of price action. So good scalping, but because we've got a death cross and we're moving sort of, I'd say, in a bearish trend, even though we've had a big buyback, a big nice green candlestick there, I'm not going to be scalping. I don't have the time to scalp anyway, but if I did, when the momentum is down and we have a death cross here and moving averages are generally sloping down, it's not the way I'd like to scalp. I'd like to scalp perhaps maybe on the way back up rather than on a potential move to the down. We do look like we want to come back up again, I should say, but because these moving averages here are all kind of converging, we're going to find resistance on each one. It'll take a big move to break above them, and because the trend for most of them are actually sloping down, even if we did break above them, it could quite easily and most likely fall back down again over a few hours to a day or so. So it's still a no trading zone for me. I'm waiting for us to come back down to this 9,200 area and see what happens when that takes place. So we'll move on to some of these other coins. So we'll look at Matic. So Matic's, you can see now with Matic that this consolidation looks like it's almost finishing its moves, and the reason I say that is because obviously a huge parabolic top like this all the way back there caused huge ripples and zigzag patterns and all kinds of momentum, but to the down. Now what we see here is smaller moves, smaller ranges, and tighter Bollinger Bands. It's also given the moving averages time to level out. As we saw back here, they've always been generally quite steep and sloping down, so very little opportunity for it to break above there. What's probably going to start to happen soon with most of these coins is that as the Bitcoin dominance starts to fall, these will start to pick up. And looking at Matic and the way that it's moving, which is still down, but testing this 113 Satoshi range is its lowest ever, but around about 114, 113 area, we always seem to be finding a bounce there. So I expect that if we do fall any lower than this, we'll start to find significant moves up before we start trailing down. Now Matic it's not the greatest tool in the trader's book anymore to trade with. Investment, it's an early coin, so investments is probably a better opportunity if you're looking to pick something up for a long-term purpose. This would probably be one of those coins. It's pretty prolific in the way that it's going about its business. So, and it's actually pretty low value actually for what it is likely to be worth in the future. But right now, sideways with a touch to the bearish side. No significant moves are likely to take place with Matic, probably for I'd probably say another couple of months really. The alt season will help it if the alt season ever comes round, but Bitcoin is still dominant and it's bearish, which is not a good sign for anybody. So we look on the tether value. Tether value is pretty much one and the same with Bitcoin pairing actually, so we're finding resistance on these moving averages, all of them down, really suffering hard as a result of the death cross up here. We've got a big gap between the 50 and the 200 EMA. We do look like we want to come up a little bit, but we're going to, again, similar to Bitcoin, we're going to find resistances on each of these moving averages, probably keeping our price quite low, keeping this range very tight. And realistically, until the dominance has subsided a little, this is the way it's going to be for all coins generally, unless they've got some significant news coming out. BitTorrent token. So we can have a look at BitTorrent token now. So BitTorrent token looks relatively strong, and it looked strong for a while actually, until recently when the death cross happened. All these coins are now finding death crosses, and BitTorrent token couldn't escape that death cross and has fallen significantly. It looked like it wanted to make some good moves, and it was making good moves actually. But as a result of the market, and probably because the Warren Buffett lunch was postponed, we came back down. The good news is currently we haven't made a lower low, so it still looks okay. So you could consider this as an extreme consolidation. But what we need now, in order for that to be a consolidation pattern, we need to start making moves again above these areas. This, again, like all the others, is a battle against these moving averages. So to break above 0.00095 would be a significant achievement, and one that might hold some promise for a higher high in this area, back up to or above 0.0010, hopefully 0.0011 is where we are looking to aim for, and then again probably a consolidation down. Again, this is all subject to the nature of the market. There's only so much you can do when you look at these coins. You can work out who's probably got the better opportunity when the market is in its favour, but the market as a whole is trending as one, and Bitcoin is certainly the predominant mover, and Bitcoin looking pretty sorry for itself at the moment. I would not fancy trading anything until something changes with the market, but if there were to be a trade to make, this could be one of those coins. This one and Litecoin, I think specifically, two ends of the spectrum. We've got a really big Class A crypto of Litecoin, and you've got this guy here, which is a bit of a second class crypto, but it does seem to show decent promise when the opportunity is ripe. Currently, it probably has a bit more movement to the up for the rest of the day, but it's going to find resistances here. And like I say, if it breaks those resistances, then great. Then you know that's a second tick on the checklist of things we're looking to achieve for a coin that's likely to make big moves when the market is ready. The Satoshi value is pretty much exactly the same. It's been the same for a while. Perfect sideways, really, with a range of about 4 Satoshis, anywhere as low as 7, I believe. Did we get to 7? No, we didn't actually break to 7, actually. Or at least we may have done, but no, we didn't actually. We've not broken 7. We've stayed at 8, which is positive. Well, it's not great, but it's not bad, because it shows that it's not incredibly bearish. But these Satoshis are big moves. If it were to go down to 7, that's over 12% move down in one tick. So it would be bad news if we did do that. Right, Harmony 1. So Harmony 1, exactly the same really as things like Matic and Celr when we come on to look at that. Sideways trending underneath all moving averages. There wasn't a death cross on this because it was too early to have a death cross, but because the 200 EMA is above the 50, it's going to be a struggle for it to make big moves out of this, just like Matic. So we're looking to be sort of going down and sideways. We are on the Bitcoin pairing here. I would probably say we're likely to test our previous low of 105 satoshis, and the highest we're likely to get would be 121 satoshis before a pullback again. Again, if we look at it, our trading ranges are shrinking, and what it suggests is when they do shrink and they get to a point where it wants to break, it appears to break to the downside instead of the up. Again, reason being the market again. And we look at the tether value, and we are small trading range and bearish actually, so it's just the same as Matic and actually a little worse. L1, so let's have a look at this guy. Again, exactly the same as all these IEOs, to be honest with you. There's not one that's much better than the others. I would probably say this one wants to come back down to test 0.0034, and we're on the tether pairing here. It does make relatively strong bounces, but it's such an early coin, there's not very little to go on. I can say that we're likely to bounce around 0.0041. It looks like it wants to make a few moves to the up in the short term, but that would be its resistance, 0.0041, and then probably back down again to at least 0.0034. And if we have a look at the pairing with Bitcoin, and we're really in a small range of satoshis here, so it's very difficult to map this one out. Sideways trending, looks like a consolidation now. Heavy sell-offs, struggling to make bigger moves, and definitely bouncing on this area here, the 50 EMA, which currently is around 40 satoshis. 40 satoshis needs to break for a significant move up, but we're being rejected each time on there, so bear that figure in mind. 40 satoshis is the one to move on. If we can break above there, then you might be looking for a decent bounce. RSI actually looks like it's wanting to move above, but these sell-offs here at these levels, it shows that people are scalping this one, buying and selling at that area, making what they can out of a bad sort of chart, really. Again, it's not really one for me right now. The market's not in our favour. And Celr looks like Celr looks like it wanted to do some decent moves actually before. It looked relatively strong, but it fell from grace and is continuing to fall, just like all the others. In fact, one of the worst actually at the moment. Shame really, because it was doing okay, it was showing relative strength. Now when it comes to finding a bottom, this one might not yet have bottomed out. We're lowest, it would be 91 satoshis, looking like we're probably going to come and test that area again. Trading area is very short, so there could be a break to the up. It's a gamble though, a definite gamble. It does look like indicators across the board want to make a move up, but showing these very, very small candlesticks and heavy rejections on the moving averages here would suggest that it's really struggling, and might want to come back down to test 91 or maybe even lower. But because our ranges are very, very small now, it would suggest a break is on the cards. Whether that's a break to the up, I don't know. It could be a break to the up, and if it is, that would be a good break. Actually, we need to get above 101 satoshis and stay above there for this break to continue. So if we push up to 101 satoshis and break it, there's probably going to be a big spike in this guy. But to make it any further than 130 satoshis, very, very unlikely at the moment. Wait till the market changes. This could be a decent player actually, but at the moment we're stuck in a bearish trend thanks to Bitcoin and its dominance and its bearish continuation. And if we look at the tether pairing, we are continuing now to make new lows. So yeah, this one may not have bottomed out quite yet. Again, looking to make some sort of small moves to the up. The highest I would expect it to get to would be 1.04 cent. If we can break above there, again, same deal as the Satoshi pairing. We can make bigger spikes. The highest I would ever expect it to get to would be 1.32 cent before a significant rejection off this 200 EMA. RSI looks like it wants to move up again though, but again the market is ruining it for everybody. The few coins that are able to escape this bearish trend across the board are the coins who've got things going on, or people sort of, I guess, picking them up at what they would consider to be relatively low. Now, one thing I can say is that most of these coins, Celr and things like Matic, they have had significant sell-offs since their all-time highs. They were huge movers, even BitTorrent token, and if you look at the major players, things like XRP, Litecoin, EOS, those guys have lost, let's just say 50% or thereabouts, half of their value. They're kind of picking up a little bit here and there. Some of them are anyway. So the way it's likely to go when the market does change is that those stronger coins will probably move first because they've got the highest volumes and they've got the highest liquidity. When they move, everything else will start to move, and when the money flows out of those guys into these guys will move faster. Reason being is that these guys have got a lot less volume, a lot lower price. So if the equivalent of profit taking on those coins and such as Litecoin and all those big guys, once profit taking takes place on them and they filter into these guys will move maybe twice as fast or more, higher at least anyway, because the volume would be so large that goes into them and the volume is so low right now. So bear that one in mind, but I am not your financial advisor and it's not financial advice, but my expectation would be that the stronger coins will move first, those in the top 10, top 20, 30, and then these underdog coins such as the IEOs will probably find a significant bounce as a result of all of that. They will bounce with the market, definitely, but they will probably have two bounces. They will have an initial bounce, sort of maybe raising, it might be at the same speed as the other alts, but then it will overtake when it comes to percentage wise, maybe even seeing moves as large as 50 to 75%, once the market is in its favour. That's my expectation, that's what I imagine to take place, and that's my reasoning for it. Anyway, I am going to go and get a cold drink because it is roasting here, absolutely roasting, and if you're in the UK, I imagine you'll be suffering the same as me. So I hope you get through the rest of the day. I hope you have a nice day, and take it easy. Thanks for watching.